Hey guys, what's going on? This is Andrew here today, and we're going to be taking a look at some of the last games I got during the GameStop Pro Week sale, some of the games I got for the 4 for 40 slash 4 for 20 deal that they're doing at GameStop this week, and then a few things that I got from a retro game store slash music shop named Mr. Cheapo. So I'm just going to go and say in the beginning here that this video is more so to test my Siren Mini that I got from Mr. Cheapo's. It was only 20 bucks. They didn't know what microphone it was. They didn't really care what mic it was. Just had it on there as a miscellaneous mic at 20 bucks. I saw the thing, realized it was a Siren Mini, and just said, all right, this might be a good idea to get a secondary mic just so I can have it in my other game room and have it to where I can basically just use this for commentary when I'm playing the Guitar Hero games or any other retro game I decide to record while I'm in there. Because I plan on getting another capture card for that game room semi-soon, because the one that I'm using with Koopman honestly is alright, but I want to get something that's a little higher quality for the Guitar Hero videos. But anyway, guys, we're going to look at some of the stuff I got here. Got some cool stuff so far. Not sure if I'm going to be getting any more, because honestly, most of the games on that 4 for 40 and 4 for 20 deals through GameStop aren't really that interesting to me for the most part, or I just have a ton of the titles already. But this is what I got so far, and then we also got some games, obviously, from the Pro Week sale, like I said before, and a few things from Mr. Cheapo. So let's get right into it. So I'm not going to be going in order with some of the things I got. I figured I already made a pile of stuff and I don't feel like trying to think about what I got first, but a majority, I think the stuff that I'm showing here actually came from Mr. Cheapo first, so we're just going to show that off real quick. First thing I got, one that I got just because it was a really nice deal. I got a pretty scratched up black GameCube. It's got scuffs all over the place. I think even like one of the vents over here might have even cracked a little bit. So GameCube wasn't in the greatest condition, but it does work. It does play games, and it was only 40 bucks. It came with the power cable, didn't come with the AV cable, and didn't come with the controller. But I already have a few controllers for GameCube and multiple AV cables for the GameCube as well, so I'm not too concerned about that. I just saw the GameCube was 40 bucks, and I love the black look of it. Unfortunately, it is pretty scratched up. I do have to probably do some cleaning and refurbishment to this thing just to make it look a little nicer for the collection, but honestly, this probably isn't going to be the GameCube that I use and play on, considering my other GameCube is in much better condition, and I'm thinking we're more than likely going to use this one. But maybe at some point, if one of my siblings wants to play a GameCube, I'll hook this up for them, or if a friend wants a GameCube, maybe I'll just give it to them altogether. But overall, it was only 40 bucks. I figured I'd jump right on that deal because most of the time I see GameCubes going for $100 or more now, and this was just the perfect deal to jump on. So the next thing I got from Mr. Cheapo's is one that I feel like I got a pretty decent deal on. I haven't really seen this thing go for that high prices, at least of lately. It was really high during the pandemic, but the price kind of dropped a little bit over the past 2 years, I'd say, and I already technically had a copy of the game, but I had it loose, so I wanted to get one with an actual, the actual cover art and the GameCube case. That one is Super Mario Sunshine. Only got it for 40 bucks. Figured it was a pretty nice deal. The disc was in really nice condition, and honestly, I never really got to play this as a child, so I never really got into it, but it is something that I am looking to eventually do a full playthrough on the GameCube. And if I'm not going to be doing it on the GameCube, more than likely going to be doing it on my Razer Edge through Dolphin, since games on the GameCube run really nice on the Dolphin emulator on there, or I can play it in 4K on my new gaming PC that I got a few months back. So either way, the game is exciting to get. I feel like I got a nice deal on it, and now I actually have an official copy of Mario Sunshine in the box that it's supposed to be in. So the last thing that I got from Mr. Cheapo's isn't gaming related, but it is music related and something that I am very passionate about. Plus, it's very collectible, I'd say, because a lot of people go for vinyl. I kind of spoiled it, it's a vinyl, but anyway, it's the new Metallica album, 72 Seasons. So, not sure how many of you guys that watch my videos are metal fans, but if you aren't, Metallica still releases music. It's pretty nice. Some of their newer stuff is pretty good, but if you want to listen to some good Metallica, you got to listen to the originals. But regardless, if any of you didn't know, they did release a new album about a month or two ago now, and I've been listening to it a ton. When I first listened to it, didn't really like it. Second time I listened to it, it started to grow on me. Third time I listened to it, I realized that this is actually a really nice album, and I gotta say that I'm pretty into it. So I feel like in terms of this one, it warranted my purchase. I don't have many of the other Metallica albums on vinyl, but I probably will be collecting them over time since they're one of my favorite bands. But this one in particular was one that I felt like, honestly, was not too bad. I really liked how James Hetfield sounded on here. I really loved how Rob Trujillo sounded on here. And I absolutely loved how Lars sounded on this album. I feel like this might be one of his best albums where he's been on drums for it. So every other one, he's Lars Ulrich. If you're a Metallica fan, you know what I'm talking about. Not the greatest drummer in the world, but on this one, it sounded like there was a ton of improvement, and I absolutely love that. I thought that it enhanced the tone of Metallica a ton, and it made the guitar tracks just sound absolutely beautiful in combination. So was very happy with that. The only person that I am very disappointed with on this album has to be Kirk Hammett. I feel like his soloing days are over. I feel like if we see any more Metallica albums, he's just gonna sound like garbage, and I have to accept that. I gave him somewhat of a pass for Hardwired because I felt like it was a different kind of album and a different sound. But I feel like there were a lot of songs on this album that deserved a good guitar solo, and we just didn't get it. I feel like they almost just threw him in the solo and said in the studio and said shred. Don't write anything meaningful, just shred. Or at that point, maybe he just ran out of ideas. I have no idea, but I felt like he sounded like garbage, and he pretty much is the reason why I wouldn't consider this a perfect album. I feel like everybody else sounded amazing, but in terms of the soloing and the lead parts in here, he screwed it up, in my opinion. So I'd have to give this album maybe a 7 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10. It would have been a 10 out of 10 to me if, they would have had some good guitar solos in there, but Kirk Hammett sounded like garbage. Everybody else sounded great, but unfortunately he had to lower the tier at least two number ratings for me at that point. So yeah, I know I talked a lot about this. It's not very gaming related, but I felt like that was definitely something I had to point out since I am a Metallica fan, and it is something that I added to my collection. So yeah. Alright, so now we are moving on to some games that I got from GameStop. Just going to kind of go through the list, talk about some of the stuff that I got here. Some stuff I'll talk a lot about, some stuff I really just added to the collection for the hell of it, but there are actually a decent amount of games in here that I feel like I will be talking a decent bit about, so let's get right into it. First game, I actually got 2 copies of it, was Doom 2016 for the Xbox One and the PS4. So this is one of my favorite games of all time. Honestly, I think I would consider it my favorite game of all time if Doom Eternal didn't exist, because I've played this game over like maybe 10 or 11 times now. I have to say that this is probably the game that got me decent at first-person shooters, because before this, I was playing Call of Duty. I think Black Ops 3 and maybe even Infinite Warfare were out during the time that this game was launched, and I was terrible at COD during the time. Playing this game made me much better at first-person shooters. It got me into playing keyboard and mouse, because before that I just completely sucked at keyboard and mouse, but jumping from controller to keyboard and mouse made me go from Hurt Me Plenty to Nightmare. It's completely skipped over the tier in between. I went straight to Nightmare when playing on keyboard and mouse. So this game honestly defined the last generation to me. I felt like these were one perfect game. I really ended up loving them a ton. I've played them a ton. I'm going to be playing them again. I'm probably going to play them over and over again just because of how much I love them. Plus, I love the snap map feature where people make their custom maps, upload them, and you can play them on there. I don't believe they had that in Doom Eternal, which kind of sucked for me, but I do love these games a lot. I'm going to be playing them again. I don't believe I played it on PlayStation yet. I did play the Xbox One version already because Bethesda is now owned by Microsoft and it's on Game Pass. So I played it on PC already. I played it on Xbox One. I replayed it on the Series X. Replayed it on PC multiple times. I also played it on the Switch. I got that as soon as it came out. And now I have the PlayStation version. I'm going to more than likely be playing this on my PS4 kiosk that I have. I may play it on the 5, but honestly, I want to see how the PS4 Pro runs this game, and I want to play it on the kiosk since I love that I have a PS4 kiosk and I haven't used it in a while, so this now gives me the opportunity to play it. But yeah, absolute favorite games of all time. Definitely can't wait for them to make another Doom game if they're going to be making another Doom game, but for now, Doom Eternal will hold me over with the DLC that keeps coming out, so hopefully we see more games like this. I absolutely love this game, but in my heart, I would love to see another Quake game come out. I know this technically is like a mixture of Doom and Quake with the the newer visuals and just the style in general, but I would love to see another story mode Quake game, or not story mode Quake game, but a single player Quake game, because I know they came out with a Quake game over the past few years, but that one was more of a multiplayer one. So definitely would love to see another Doom, or at the very least, my dream, another Quake. So this is very strange because I thought that I actually already owned this game on Xbox One, but I guess I didn't. Maybe I just saw it in my library because it was on Game Pass. It's also a game by Bethesda, so thought I owned the game on Xbox One. For some reason, I didn't. I know I own it on the PS4. I also own it on PC. I now own it on every single platform because I now got the Xbox One version, but this is Fallout 4. So I noticed that for some reason, Bethesda games never hold their value. Like, if you saw Doom on Xbox One before, that was only $3. On PS4, it was only $10. And I believe this game was only like $5 as well. It was really cheap. A lot of people liked Fallout 3 better. I personally couldn't get into Fallout 3. I got a little into Fallout 4 when I played it on the PS4, but honestly, these were never really my type of games. I feel like if I were to just sit down and play it a little longer, I could definitely get myself into it more. But I feel like there's a lot of my brain that I have to use for this game, and it just makes me not able to really get very far in the game because I get lost very easily in games like this. It's why I never beat Skyrim, it's why I never beat Oblivion, and it's why I never beat a single Fallout game. So I do think that the game was very well made. A lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people also did like it, and there's a lot of mods, but I did really like the game from what I played of it so far. I don't know if I'm going to play it again. If I'm going to play it, it's more than likely going to be on PC, but I do know that they have the enhanced frame rates on Series X and PS5 now, so I may play it on the Series X as well. You never know. I have the game digitally anyway, so this is just going to sit on my shelf. So yeah, figured I'd add it. It was cheap enough, and for some reason I just didn't own the game, so I figured, why not? Let's get my hands on it. Another game that I added to my collection that I could have sworn I had in my collection has to be Halo Wars 2. I had the original on the 360, never really got into it at all. I never really was into the style of these games, but I feel like I need to have every single Xbox exclusive game since there really weren't many on the Xbox One, and I just kind of want to get them all together and see which ones are the best ones and see which ones are underrated. In my opinion, the most underrated Xbox exclusive has to be Quantum Break. I thought that one had a really nice story, and the visuals were honestly the best for its time when it came out, right next to Uncharted 4. But this game in particular was just one that I never could get myself into, at least in the style of the game. It's not the kind of game I usually play, but it's something to add to the collection. Plus, it's an Xbox One exclusive, and I believe it was console exclusive for a point in time. I don't believe it came to PC for a little while. I could be wrong about that. I know it's on PC now, and it's definitely on Game Pass, but felt like I needed to get the Xbox One version just because I feel like with Halo, no matter what, even if the game plays better on PC, I have to get it on console just for the fact that that's where it started. So the next game I'm showing, when this came out, it was the best looking game that had come out at the time. It was the most demanding game, I believe, that had come out for its time. So that game is Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. This game, I believe, wasn't even launched at full price. I think it was only $40, and it was one of the hardest games you can play because once you were dead, you started again right back from the beginning. So this was one of those really challenging games. I know there's another Hellblade game that's going to be coming out. If it didn't come out already, I honestly didn't pay attention, but when I got this game on PC, it absolutely blew me away. And at the time, I had a GTX 1070 that was pushing 4K frame rates perfectly fine for some of the games that were coming out. This game, I remember, just ran like absolute garbage in 4K, so I had to turn it down to, I think, even 1440p or 1080p. So this was one of those really demanding games. It was really hard, and I never ended up beating it, but one day I do want to sit down again and do it. The visuals of this game were just some of the, well, it was the best for its time when it came out, so still really holds up well to this day. Maybe the style is a little off and the game isn't as good as some of the more modern games, but this was just an incredible looking game, and I'm very happy to add it to my Xbox collection. This game right here is kind of a filler game, but not really at the same time because I grew up playing the MX games. I did get MX versus ATV Legends recently. Still haven't played it on the Series X because I'm still working on finishing Star Wars Jedi Survivor. But I figured I would add this one as well since it was part of that 4 for $20 deal, and it was cheap enough to where I figured, you know what, let's just do it. So I never got to play this one on the 360. I believe that's the platform it came on, but I have it on the Xbox One, and it's going to play on the Series X. That game is MX versus ATV Supercross Encore. So never really enjoyed the style of the newer MX games, but I do want to give this one a shot. I do want to play all the MX games eventually and see which ones are my favorite, but MX Unleashed is more than likely going to be my favorite for the way it controls. I feel like the controls got really weird after MX Unleashed, but you never know. I may actually get into something like this. It definitely looks interesting, and we'll see what happens. I don't really expect much out of it, but it was part of that 4 for $20 deal, and it was something I just jumped on. So we've got another Xbox exclusive game here. I think this one might have actually been a launch title. That one is Rise, Son of Rome. So I played a little bit of this on the Steam Deck, and I thought it was pretty good. So I knew eventually I would want to get it on an actual console. At some point in time, this was pretty much one of the only games you can get on Xbox One. It was a launch title, and compared to the PS4 lineup that was at launch, I feel like a lot of people preferred the Xbox One lineup, but obviously the Xbox One was $500, the PS4 was $400, so most people went for that. So this was a game I think a lot of people skipped over or just never got a chance to play. I highly recommend it for anybody that is just looking for some good Xbox exclusive games. I would love to see a sequel to something like this. I feel like this game was really well made, and being an Xbox One exclusive, just a launch title, I feel like it was more like a tech demo. I would love to see what they can fully do with the console fully optimized to run a game like this, or fully optimized, I should say, to build another game like this and just see what they can do to expand on it. Didn't play a whole lot of it, but from what I did play, I thought it was really cool. So more than likely going to be playing it again, but I'm probably going to be finishing it on the Steam Deck since I got a decent bit through it. The next game we're looking at is a game I've played way too many times now on every single platform and just can't get enough of it. That is SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, but this one is the rehydrated version on Xbox One. I already played through it on the Switch, I played through it on PC, I played through it on the iPad, I played it on my Razer phone, I played it on my Razer Edge for the better performance, I played it on my PS4, and now I have it on my Xbox One. And I also played the originals on GameCube and Xbox. I never played the PS2 version now that I think about it, but I played basically every single version of this game. Don't know why I got it again other than the fact it was in the 4 for 40, but I can just see myself playing it again, and if anything, probably for the Xbox achievements at that point anyway, so figured I'd grab the game. I'll probably play this on my Series X or maybe even the Xbox One X in my other room just for another replay, but the game was really solid. This is one of the best SpongeBob games of all time. I'm very happy that they ended up coming out with another 3D SpongeBob game last year. That one was very solid, played the hell out of it, and I'm more than likely going to be, once again, playing the hell out of this one. The rest of the games here were mainly filler, or some of them were ones that I was interested in actually giving a shot. Some of them were filler. Gotham Knights is one I want to try. I've heard it's absolutely garbage, but I want to at least give it a shot. I don't know if they fixed the performance on it or not, but I know at some point it was locked at 30 FPS, so that automatically made me go away from it. I hate 30 FPS this day and age. There's no reason we should be capped at 30. We should at least have the 1080p 60 modes, which is why I'm kind of pissed at Starfield for only being at 30 FPS, but I guess I'm going to be playing a majority of these games on PC, and it's a good thing I got this PC, because last generation what I did was I got all my main games on PS4 and Xbox One, and then any game that hit 30 FPS and didn't do 60 I would do on PC. So if this ends up being 30 FPS and the game sucks, I'm probably still going to play it, but I will be pissed off by the frame rate the whole time. Next, we got Scarlet Nexus. I know absolutely nothing about it. I just remember it being one of the first games you can pre-order on the next-gen console, so it was one I was going to get, but just never ended up doing. I've heard it was pretty good. They do offer 60 FPS in this game, so I am going to pretty much enjoy it. This game right here was during the buy one, get one. I feel like this one is more than likely going to be shovelware. I feel like the only person that looks good in this artwork has to be John Kreese. What the fuck did they do to Ralph Macchio? What the hell did they do to fucking William Zabska, I think is his name. Yeah, what the hell happened to the other guys? The only person that looks good is Kreese in here. Honestly, everybody else looks like cartoonish garbage. I feel like this game's going to be shovelware. Don't know much about it, but we'll give it a shot, I think, somewhere down the line. I just know that nobody really cared for it when it came out, and I'm probably not going to care for it once I give it my playthrough. Very last game, another game that I really know nothing about, but do know that the story mode is pretty good, and people keep talking about it, so I picked it up. The Dark Pictures, The Devil in Me. So I know that this is a next-gen game. It also plays on Xbox One, but I've heard that the visuals are really good and the story is really good. I still have to play the other Dark Pictures games, but I figured since this one was part of the buy one, get one deal, I would just add it by default. So anyway, guys, that's everything that we got. We got a decent amount of stuff in this haul, mainly because I combined hauls from one store to another. So that I guess that makes sense. Plus, we're combining deals from Pro Week all the way to the buy 2 for 40, or no, 4 for 40 or 4 for 20, because both those deals were going on at the same time. But got a decent amount of stuff. This video went on about almost 20 minutes, so I'm going to try to end it here. Thank you guys for watching this video. I will see you all in the next one.